What's going on, baseball fans? How are we doing? So we are officially in the dog days of August, and during this time, teams tend to look towards their minor league depth to help out the major league roster because of injuries and so on. So in this video, I'm going to go over each contending team, each team within 6 games of a playoff spot, and see which prospects could help out these teams down the stretch. Let's go talk about it. Starting off with the Tampa Bay Rays, I think they should go ahead and call up Shane Baze. This guy has completely proven himself down in the minor leagues. If you take a look at the numbers, so far between AA and AAA this year, he has a 2.26 ERA. He has 82 strikeouts over 55 and 2/3 innings. He just helped out the Olympic team, and my goodness, this guy is just having a phenomenal year down in the minor leagues. And you got to think, this was, the extra guy that came in, the Tyler Glasnow and Austin Meadows trade, and this guy is now one of your top prospects in the Rays system, and he is completely proving himself this year. He's got a big fastball. He's got a really good slider, a solid changeup. The curveball could use some work, but overall, he's a 55 prospect. This is a guy where, for the Rays, they could definitely use another arm. They lost Tyler Glasnow. I think Shane Baze would be a nice complement either for the starting rotation or for the bullpen. Moving on to the New York Yankees, I think it's only a matter of time before they should call up Clarke Schmidt. He's currently on a rehab assignment. He still is considered a prospect, even though last year he did have a taste of the major leagues. He pitched in 3 games last year. I mean, not the greatest numbers overall, but he did have 7 strikeouts through 6 1/3 innings. So far, he's on his rehab assignment, and he's pitching pretty well in the last few games. If we take a look at the last start, I mean, he hasn't gone more than 3 innings in his first 3 appearances on the rehab assignment, but he's pitched pretty solid overall. He's only given up 2 runs over those 3 appearances. He's gotten himself quite a few strikeouts already. I think Clarke Schmidt would be a really nice addition for the Yankees, either for the starting rotation or an extra arm for the bullpen. So, I mean, this is a guy where he's a top prospect for the Yankees for a good reason. A 60 fastball, a 60 curveball, a 55 changeup. I mean, decent control with a 50 there, a 55 overall. I think Clarke Schmidt, this is going to be a really solid picture for the Yankees in the years to come. And I think this year, he can definitely help out this Yankee team. On to the Toronto Blue Jays. I think this is a clear and obvious choice. Nate Pearson. Nate Pearson, he was supposed to be with the Blue Jays this year coming out of camp, but he's been dealing with a groin issue all year. This is a guy, there's a lot to like about Nate Pearson. He is special. Big reason, big fastball. 80 fastball, that's the highest grade you can get for the scouting. He has a 60 slider to go along with it, a 55 changeup, a 50 curveball, a 55 control. There is a reason why this is a top pitching prospect for the Toronto Blue Jays and in all of Major League Baseball. But like I said, he's been dealing with a groin issue, so he is still working his way back from that. As of August 4th, he had just completed a simulated game, and so he's about to be starting a rehab assignment. So I think get him a few outings down to the minor leagues. Make sure that groin is good to go. I think Nate Pearson easily could be a huge, huge help in that bullpen for the Toronto Blue Jays. They've been adding some guys through trades. I think Nate Pearson, this is a guy, a big arm coming out of that bullpen, can really help the Blue Jays down the stretch. And if they were to make the playoffs, I mean, to me, I feel like he could have that same effect like David Price did for the Tampa Bay Rays in 2008. Last but not least, in the American League East, I think the Red Sox should give a call to Connor Siebold. This is a guy they got in the Brandon Workman trade, the last trade deadline with the Phillies. Connor Siebold, he's been pretty decent down in the minor leagues so far. If we take a look at the numbers over this entire season in the minor leagues, he has a 4.05 ERA over 20 innings. He has 28 strikeouts over the 20 innings pitched. More of a control guy. He's not really going to have a big fastball. He has a curveball, slider, but he has a really good changeup. So I think for the Red Sox, he can get a spot start, maybe come out of the bullpen a little bit. I think that can be very helpful. I mean, to be honest with the Red Sox, I mean, they already have 2 guys, from the minor leagues helping out this year. They called up Jarren Duran recently. Tanner Houck, he's going to be a big guy coming out of the bullpen or starting for the Red Sox down the stretch. But if you were to add another guy, I think Connor Siebold would be a nice addition for the bullpen. Moving on to the AL Central, I think the White Sox should give a call again to Jake Burger. He was with the White Sox a little earlier. He had 15 games with them, 38 at-bats. Didn't do all that bad. 263 average, a 333 on base, had a home run, 3 RBIs. He did strike out a bit. But, for the White Sox, this is a guy who can bring a little pop off the bench. I think the White Sox could use a little more power there. He has a 55 power grade with a 50 hit tool. I think Jake Burger would be a nice bat off the bench for the White Sox. Moving on to the AL West, I think the Astros should give a call for Hunter Brown. This guy has been really solid this year as their number 3 prospect in their system. So far in 2021, between AA and AAA, he has an ERA of 4.01. He has 88 strikeouts over 60 and 2/3 innings pitched. But if you take a look at the breakdown between AA and AAA, he has actually been very good so far down in AAA over 2 games. He had 1 start there. He had 12 strikeouts over the 11 1/3 innings pitched and a 3.18 ERA. If you take a look at his last couple appearances here in AA, he had 6 innings here, only gave up 1 run, 5 1/3 there, gave up a few runs there. But Hunter Brown, this is a guy, he has a big fastball, 65 fastball, 60 curveball, 55 slider, kind of whatever with the changeup, but a guy that has 3 really solid pitches. Have him come out of the bullpen. I think that could be good for the Astros. They've been really trying to solidify that bullpen. They did add a couple of pieces for the deadline, but Hunter Brown, I think, could be a nice piece for the bullpen, late in August or down the stretch in September. For the Oakland A's, why not give a call for your number 2 prospect, AJ Puck, big left-hander down in AAA. This guy has a bright future ahead of him. He has been struggling this year a bit. He has been dealing with some injuries, but if you take a look as of recently, this guy has been having a very good run as of late. If you take a look here, in his last few appearances, he has not had all that bad of luck. If you take a look here, an inning here, an inning there, 3 innings there, gave up a run there, a run here. But overall, he's been pretty solid for the most part. If you take a look here, back on August 1st, pitched 3 innings there. He struck out 5 guys. I think this is a guy that could definitely help out the Oakland A's bullpen. They've been trying to kind of, like the Astros, they've needed a few pieces for that bullpen. They did bring in an Andrew Chafin, but for an AJ Puck, this is a big left-hander with a big fastball, big slider. I think this could be a nice look out of the bullpen for the A's down the stretch. For the Seattle Mariners, let's give Aaron Fletcher a call once again. He was with the Mariners earlier this season. If you take a look at the numbers, a 12.27 ERA in 4 games for the Mariners, but that was back in May. He has gone down to AAA since then, and he has been pitching extremely well down in the minor leagues in AAA. If you take a look, he did give up a run in his last appearance, but you would have to go back all the way to July 10th. That was the last time he gave up a run, and he has just been phenomenal. So I think for the Mariners, this is another guy, another bullpen guy that can come in, give you a good solid look from the left-hand side. He's got a big fastball, good slider, decent changeup. I think Aaron Fletcher, hey, why not give this guy a chance again? I think he would have better luck this time around. Moving on to the National League East, let's go to the Phillies. They have been red hot lately. Why not give the call for Hans Krause? He just came over to the Phillies in the Kyle Gibson trade that also brought in Ian Kennedy. I think Hans Krause could be a nice candidate to go from AA to the major leagues. He has had a lot of success in AA so far. If you take a look at the numbers so far this year, for the majority, he was in the Texas system. He just recently came over to the Phillies, but overall in the year, he has a 3.05 ERA over the 56 innings. He has 59 strikeouts. He's just been really solid overall. If you take a look at his last few appearances, not too bad. 5 innings. Actually, he's pitched 5 innings in the last 5 starts, and he's been pretty solid. He hasn't given up more than 2 runs in any of those starts. I think for the Phillies, they definitely could use some more pitching depth. They could always use another arm out of that bullpen. Hans Krause, why not? I think give this guy a chance to come up from AA to the major leagues. He has good stuff. He has a 65 fastball, 55 curveball, 65 slider, 50 changeup that can play really well in the major leagues. I think this is a candidate, hey, could make that jump from AA to the major leagues. Moving on to the Atlanta Braves, another team that has been surging lately, and ever since they lost Ronald Acuna Jr., they've been trying to replace his bat in many different ways. Jock Peterson, Jorge Soler, Adam Duvall they brought back, but why not give Drew Waters a chance? He hasn't been all that bad down in the minor leagues, the number 2 prospect. If you take a look at his numbers so far in AAA for the year, he has spent all year in AAA. He's hitting .255. He has a .349 on base. If you take a look, 8 home runs, 27 RBIs. He has struck out a lot, but one thing that is a positive here, he has 19 stolen bases, so he has a knack for getting on base. He has some speed. I think that can play well for the Braves. They're trying to replace Acuna Jr. with all of these different looks. why not give Drew Waters a chance to come off the bench a little bit, get a few starts here and there? Again, that adds another dimension with his speed. I think that could play really well. If not a Drew Waters, maybe call up Christian Pache again. You know you're going to get a good glove with Pache, but I would love to see what Drew Waters could do for the Atlanta Braves. And let's talk about the New York Mets. I think Kahlil Lee would be a good addition for the Mets. He was with the Mets earlier this year. Didn't really fare too well. He had 11 games, 18 at-bats, only hit .056. I mean, that is just awful. But down in the minors, he's been really solid. In AAA this year, he has a .447 on base. He's hitting .271, 5 homers, 19 RBIs. Got a few stolen bases there as well. But I think Kahlil Lee, this is a guy that can help out the Mets, really with his legs. He's got a 60-run tool. I mean, the guy, he's a 45 hits, so you're not really going to expect much with the bat as of right now. But he's got a little pop. But I think overall, this is a guy that can come in. He can pinch run. He can steal a base for you here and there. He'll add some athleticism. He'll add some defense in the outfield. He's got a 55 field tool. So I think Kahlil Lee, this would be a good addition for the Mets. They've been having a lot of injuries this year. He can definitely provide some depth for the Mets going into later into August and into September. Moving over to the NL Central for the Milwaukee Brewers, why not call up Ethan Small? This guy has been awesome for the Brewers down in the minor leagues this year. Take a look. Overall, between AA and AAA, a 1.77 ERA, 73 strikeouts over 56 innings. But if you take a look even closer, in AAA so far, through 3 starts, a 1.23 ERA. I mean, this guy has just been getting it done down in the minor leagues. Take a look, 55 fastball, 55 curveball, 55 changeup, 55 control. I mean, for the Brewers, they could use another left-handed starter. Why not give Ethan Small a couple of starts here and there? And if anything, you can move him to the bullpen. I think this could be a decent arm for the Brewers down the stretch. Moving on to the Cincinnati Reds, they've been playing some great baseball lately. Hunter Green would be a huge addition for the Cincinnati Reds. This is a big arm, their number 2 prospect, 80 fastball, 55 slider, 50 cutter, 50 changeup, 55 control. I would love to see Hunter Green in the major leagues. He's been getting it done in the minors this year. In AA, he had a 1.98 ERA over 7 starts. And in AAA, he has a 3.63 ERA over 9 starts. I mean, come on. This guy's been striking out guys left and right. 60 strikeouts over 41 innings in AA. 60 strikeouts over 44 2/3 innings in AAA. Call up Hunter Green. I want to see that big fastball. Put him in the rotation. Put him in the bullpen. Honestly, the Reds bullpen, I still think could use another arm. A power arm like that for the bullpen down the stretch. Oh, give me Hunter Green on the Cincinnati Reds. Moving over to the National League West, let's talk about the team with the best record in all of baseball, the San Francisco Giants. Why not call up Joey Bart? We saw a lot of Joey Bart last year in 2020 with Buster Posey being out for the season last year. Had a couple of games this year with the Giants, but he has spent the majority of the time down in the minors, and he's done really well in AAA this year. A 379 on base. He's hit 314, 10 homers, 42 RBIs. I mean, Joey Bart, he's a good bat to bring up to the major leagues. Down the stretch, Buster Posey, hey, give him an extra day off here and there. Let Joey Bart get some starts. That'll keep Buster Posey rather fresh, but keeping a very solid bat in the lineup as well. Joey Bart, I think no-brainer. Call him up for the San Francisco Giants. On to the LA Dodgers. I mean, they already have a ton of talent as it is. Do they need to call up anyone for the minor leagues? But if they were to call up anyone, why not a guy for the bullpen in a Ryan Pepiot? He's been really good in the minor leagues so far for the Dodgers this year. He has spent time in AA and AAA. He spent the majority of the time in AA, a 2.87 ERA over just around 60 innings pitched, 81 strikeouts through that time. Has just recently gone up to AAA in that start, or a couple appearances for AAA. Had one good outing, 5 innings, 2 earned runs. Had a bit of a bumpy outing in his next one, but I think this is a guy where his stuff, I think, can play really well in the major leagues. A 55 fastball, 50 curveball, 50 slider, but look at the changeup. A plus changeup, 70 changeup. Ryan Pepiot, why not bring him in for the bullpen? A different look. I think that could be a pretty solid arm for the Dodgers down the stretch. On to the San Diego Padres. Let's call up number 3 prospect Luis Campusano. He was with the Padres earlier this year and last year for a game as well. Didn't really have a lot of success in the majors so far this year, 11 games. only hitting .088. I mean, that's not really good at all. But down to the minors, he's been hitting really well in AAA. Take a look, a 354 on base, a 518 slugging, 11 home runs, 37 RBIs, a 285 batting average overall. At the end of the day, Luis Campusano, he can catch, he can give a guy a day off here and there. This is a guy, a bat that can come off the bench. Hey, get him some experience. This is your catcher of the future, Luis Campusano. Bring him up for the Padres for September. So those are the guys that I think these contending teams should call up for the stretch run. Tell me what you think down below. Should they call up some other guys? Let me know down below in the comments. But that's all I have for right now. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you next time.